Sort of incandescent smile, and she whips out this poem, and it was a pre-verse poem, and I think I saw it tonight. Because I asked her, I always want to be kind of brainy when I looked at this, but what I loved was the way she put things together in a way that was so unpredictable, and with each poem, rather than putting me to sleep, she managed to wake me up, and I really liked that. So I'm not going to say much more except to say that she also is a accomplished and admired singer, and she and Ames both are terrific musically. So she's a real woman of the arts, and I know that you're going to have a real treat tonight. We put her in because I couldn't let her get by without doing some poetry. So here she comes. Everybody give her a Maui Light welcome.
Thank you, Melinda. Thank you, Pat. Thanks to all our wonderful Maui Ohana here. We really do feel very much like an Ohana with you, and we love your spirit, and we're very, very grateful. So I'm going to, without any further ado, and I don't know how my time is, Cindy, so I'll ask you. I'm going to start with a poem that I wrote. We had gone to visit two of Ames's uncles, one in Vermont and one in Southern California. And I wrote this poem, and it's called Two Old Uncles Tiptoe Toward Infinity. Mother's brother walks his centuries-old homestead in dirt-encrusted 50-year-old boots, Jack Russell Terrier at his heels. He winds through the umber woodland trail, moist soil squelching underfoot, the smell of autumn's hearth and apples and seriously sharp cheddar guide him over the Heron Rookery, around the Beaver Dam, across the rope ferry, into his sweetheart's quivering, wrinkled arms, a beauty still in her Vermont finest, corduroys and wool. Father's brother sits amid stylish wooden sculptures, looking like one himself. As radical jazz roars through cavernous rooms, he raises a chipped crystal wine glass to Trotsky and motorcycle memories. Parrots squawk profanities, white puffball lapdogs lick and yelp, stories and opinions spill into the void. The one about his Hollywood days, twice told before dinner, at the local Irish pub in a Southern California strip mall. Plied with Guinness, drowned with noisy chatter, we are met at home with the late arrival of his wife, a beauty still, in her Cuban finest, rich red lipstick and turquoise silk. This one's called Jazz in the Kitchen. This is actually going into the second Vivace literary magazine published in California. So I'll let you know when the magazine comes out. Jazz in the Kitchen. Let's see, what'll it be? A ballad, perhaps. Slow-cooked beans and tender beef, lots of sauce and simmer time. Drum brushes basting with rich red wine, punctuated with bass and bay leaf. The perfect blend of taste and texture. Voila! Le cassoulet. Or, if you're in the mood for something more upbeat, my bebop is the finest fare. I'll flash some mushrooms into the pan, stir quickly, hip-hop around the stovetop, chop ripe red heirlooms, saute with stir-fry frenzy, and toss in some snap peas for al dente pasta marinara. But nothing beats improvisation. Open the cupboards, arms reaching up for couscous, a potpourri of fresh greens await their cue, harmonize with beets. Sardines linger on the shelf, hoping for a solo. Meet me at the table at the end of the song. Here's something I thought about lately. Without forgiveness, there is no mercy. Without mercy, there is no compassion. Without compassion, there is no love. This is called Reunion. I can't remember the day or why our friendship slipped away, keeping us sisterless for years, leaving blank pages in my book of memories. But sometimes, when I closed my eyes, I could see you perfectly. Your grateful smile, your graceful gait, abundant strength. Then, brave as an autumn leaf, knowing winter's cold could carry you away, you flew straight into my heart, cold from forgetting. I can't remember any pain. No one can, I am told, feel those old scars, diminished by age and dwindling vision. Forgiveness knows no ghosts. Here's a new one that I wrote down in Walo, on Honopo Road. And I have to thank my husband Ames for helping me with this one. Soundscape. The jungle canvas, neither blank nor patient, awakens to the strokes of light and shadows. The only constant, the murmur of a distant waterfall. Ha-wah, ha-wah. Spirits restless in this sheltered canyon propel the sacred ritual with their dancing feet. Galumph, galumph. The humming drum of rainfall slows from tap, tap, wait, to tap, wait, wait. Ocean's watery drone spills upward into the welcoming sky, mutes the crackling of wave upon rock, galush, swoosh, swoosh. A chorus of forgiving wind flickers through the finger palms and flora. Whisk it, wisp. Liquid bird songs drip percussive sweetness from the trees. Caw, titty caw, caw, caw. Jingling, tingling wind chimes punctuate the morning symphony in watercolor tones. Ging-gong, ging-gong. A chant, perhaps a prayer, slowly, slowly weaves its ancient whispers into this kaleidoscope of Om. This one's for Melinda. Thank you. This was from Melinda. I read it a couple years ago and I reworked it. It's true. It's called Picking Pansies. I remember picking pansies from Mrs. Mott's garden. I didn't think she'd mind. There were so many. And besides, I never swiped the roses. I was 14 and new on the block. New to the school, new to myself, wondering if or when I would ever fit in with the other girls into my new size 12 blue jeans. My feet growing faster than my boobs, and my hips, well, they were just a nuisance. Every Tuesday afternoon at about 3:30, I'd steal behind the azaleas, young and pink and blushing, hoping to pick a few pansies without making a dent in the perfect rows of yellow and purple, so I could crown the Virgin Mary every Wednesday morning, so I could shine, so the girls might include me, so I wouldn't get stuck with Kathleen Riley, who had wiry red hair, big, big freckles, a hooked nose, and a deep, sad voice. One day, the Negro maid came to fetch me from the garden. I thought I was in for it. But no, all the missus wanted was some company, she said. I could have all the pansies I wanted, not the roses, mind you. And would I like to stay for tea in the atrium? Mrs. Mott had a voice box in her throat and sounded like an alien, but I could understand her. She sat up, ladylike, in her wheelchair, her one good hand swaying with an arpeggio, a stroke, I was told. Chopin guided us through clumsy conversation, and the maid served sugar cookies to me, the lonely teenage girl who picked the flowers and learned to love the sacred moments, and the ailing old woman who yearned for company, paying for it with pansies. That's how I spent my Tuesday afternoons for many months, even after the garden was dusted with winter, even after Kathleen Riley moved away, leaving most of my days empty, but my flower basket full. How's my time, Cindy?
7 minutes.
I have never been the rock that sits in stoic stillness. I was always sand pebbles strewn about by the tides. but now you need me. Your heavy waves of sadness washed ashore into my cove, and I have willed myself into aggregate to comfort you.
Oh.
All right, I'm gonna, may I do a quick short story? It's about 5 minutes.
I'm not sure of your time, so the other reading.
Okay, let me just do these two. This is called Raggedy Andy. The little girl sits on her back porch steps moping. Green screen door shut to keep the flies out on a quiet New Jersey Sunday afternoon. Mom's in the kitchen with her church hat still on. Nat King Cole on the radio. The car engine sputters. Lucky Strikes, a plant of beans. Dad's home, 2 6-packs. Interrupts the music with a twist of the wrist. Time for the Phillies. He opens the Pabst Blue Ribbon. The little girl sits in the still of her sadness, shoeless, big toe begging for a splinter, baby teeth aching for a cold glass of milk, not knowing she'll remember far into the future the shock of realizing something big, really big. From that day forward, she stops playing with Raggedy Andy, her constant companion ever since Christmas, because she was growing and he wasn't. Okay, I've got one poem left. And this is a Thanksgiving poem that I wanted to share with you, and I share it with all my friends at Thanksgiving, but I still think it applies to every time we sit down in the grace of the Spirit and share a meal together with, or even share it alone with ourselves. Let us give thanks for all our many blessings, for the little children who see the world with eyes of wonder, for the youth whose budding strength lifts our hearts and spirits, for those who take care of us and keep us safe, our parents and providers, our nurses, teachers, soldiers, and let us not forget the silver wisdom of our elders. We are grateful not for things but people, for good health and friendship and satisfaction with our work. If we had nothing but stone soup, yet someone to share it with, we would sip the warm liquid love and feel fulfilled in the glow of candles, in the soft web of family and friends. Let this day live forever in our hearts, so that when we are old or if ever alone or cold or hungry, we can recollect these precious hours with joyful gratitude for the hands that prepare the food, the voices that gently rise from the hearth, the sweet aromas wafting through the kitchen. Our souls will carry these senses forever. Let us eat, enjoy, be well together, and take a quiet moment to remember those who have departed, for they wait for us at the greatest table of all.